Tony's been on the show. I can't wait to have him back on. But Tony to me is like, he's a man's man, Even he's way more of a man than you are. And what is going on, my friend?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing
We'll
good.
give it a shot.
I was just gonna start with going shot through the heart. Dude, I used to even like at my young age, I listened to weird, like not saying like that because shot through the heart, that type of song, because which is I mean they're an amazing band. I mean Richie Sambora is unbelievable on guitar. I have all respect for all musicians and all that stuff, but my point being though is that was my first forever ever like piece of like music, like where I was obsessed. And then it was Meatloaf. Uh, and I will do anything. I'm not afraid to admit that. Bad Out of Hell too. I was
Yeah,
Bad Out of Hell 1 and 2 and stuff.
yeah, man.
It's like because I'm a piano player and I loved like the piano and stuff like that. But when
Word.
I only brought up Meatloaf because those were like the two that got me started into this whole musical thing that led me to obviously like Sabbath and like, a lot of underground bands and stuff like that. But Bon Jovi is legitimately the first tape that I ever had, cassette tape in my life. So how you
Yeah,
doing, Mike? How
I'm
you
good,
doing?
brother, man. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad we got together to do this tonight. This is fantastic, man. Bon Jovi had an effect on me too, as well, as you can imagine. Born in the same year you're born in 1981, so I was about 2 or 3 years old when they I guess what She's a Little Runaway came out. What was it, 83, 84?
Run away. Give a little backstory of who you are. This man right here, folks, was out of how many people again? Thousands of people for C. What was
Probably
it?
3,000 kids nationwide for the young version of Colosio in Bronx Tale. I came in probably within 4 to 5 callbacks, so I was narrowed down to the last group of kids to play young Cologero, excuse me. Io parlo italiano bene. Cologero.
He speaks though Italian
Yeah,
very, very, very fluently as well because he goes to Italy every year and he's from your family's from Italy
yeah, we're
and
from Calabria. Originally
we're
from Calabria, yeah.
Calabria. So we
Mhm.
got though an Irishman here, we got the Italian man here. What could go wrong? And he's a fantastic actor. The Capo Rise to Power. I just wanted to bring up Jimmy Barbies, who I think is just such a gentleman. And your brother Tony, who I absolutely love. Tony's a man's man. I love Tony.
The best.
He reminds me of like even my grandfather. Like he's a working man.
Yeah,
Like
man.
he's like yeah.
Hustler.
I respect that
Hustler.
in Tony. Like you know
Yeah,
what I
man.
mean.
He's a provider. He's definitely the best, man. Both of my brothers are. Carmelo too. Shout outs to my brother Carmelo, my oldest
Yeah,
brother.
I never met Carmelo yet, but shout out though to Carmelo as well. But Tony's been on the show. I can't wait to have him back on. But Tony to me is like, he's a man's man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
he's way more of a man than you are. And I just break it.
I
But
can take that though. I like that. I'll take that, dude. You should
like
open with that. You should open. You should go the open mic and then maybe close with that as well.
yeah, no, okay, I'm gonna keep it up. I mean, this is what we're talking right now is what is gonna be played. So we're in the
Write
show,
that
right?
down, Loomis. Write that down. That's
Yeah.
a good
No, I
one.
know. I'm telling you. And sit up, will you?
Sit up, man. I'm 5 foot nothing. I'm 5 foot fat.
let me tell the audience real quick that what happens with Mikey sometimes, and I mean, I'm fidgety, and I have ADD and all that stuff, whatever you want to call it. But we did an episode on The Sopranos, and we were talking like it's Sopranos, and like it'll be like, yeah, Christopher's like in the way, and then like as the time's going on, then he's
I was
down there,
sinking.
and
I
then
was sinking.
he's like, did you see the part then Loomis, they got the ketchup packets, and Paulie wasn't sharing the ketchup. So tonight we're
I'm
gonna try to
trying, though.
tonight
I'm
we're gonna try
trying,
to
Loomis. Come on.
we're gonna try to keep Mikey, head level though. And I told him to sit on some encyclopedias, and hopefully it works out though. But Mikey
That's good.
Fazz, actor from Capo Rise to Power, who I think you and Tony were the best. I mean, I like those they were my favorite scenes, like
Thank you.
going back and stuff. You guys were incredible. And
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
though, because like I told you how I'm shifting into the music. I already do a bunch of music shorts. I don't know if you ever seen any of them
Yeah,
yet,
of course, man. I'm following you. I see it, man.
but let the people know what is up with you and John Bon Jovi. Like
So
where is the relation? Like how do you know them? All of that.
So I'm from a place in New Jersey called Perth Amboy. That's where I'm born and raised, and I still live there to this day. John Bon Jovi, yes, he's from Saraville, but he was born in Perth Amboy. Perth Amboy is a city which is literally located right next to Saraville. You just go over a bridge, and then there's South Amboy, and then there's Saraville. So John, for most of his youth, lived in Perth Amboy. His family's from Perth Amboy. Perth Amboy was the capital of New Jersey before Trenton. Very, very prestigious at one point. Lucille Ball owned a home in Perth Amboy. Seven Arches was a diner and a restaurant that Lucille Ball would come with Jackie Gleason, and they would eat weekly meals there. So Perth Amboy is very prestigious. The tennis courts, people will come from around the country to play there. We had the best waterfront in New Jersey, and we're right in the harbor facing Staten Island. So Bon Jovi was born in Perth Amboy, and he was raised there. And then he went over to Saraville as, I guess, in his junior high school, maybe we'll say. So for the most part of his life, he was in Perth Amboy, and my parents owned a pizzeria right next to where John and David, the piano player, where they would rehearse. And David, I guess his uncle owned that bar at one point, and it was right next to my family's establishment, which was the pizza parlor, which later on became the Pizza Parlor Jury, which was literally where they would go and play songs for the local kids, and they would pick the best songs for the album. And our family became a part of history. As you're going to see, Loomis is going to throw up pictures. There's actually a picture of our pizzeria with all of John Bon Jovi's memorabilia, with all the signed autographs, all the pictures with him. And we basically, John used to hold interviews in our pizzeria. So we became very close with the Bon Jovi family. And eventually, Tony Fazz, my brother, needed a sponsor for Catholicism, for what is it called? Confirmation. So we asked John Sr. if he would be his godfather, and he agreed. And we became God family, or in Italian, we call it Saint John, right? Like Saint John, San Gianni. So we became very close. To Italian people, especially Calabrese, if you're San Gianni with people, you're very close. It's like cousins. So we became very close with John. And that's how the story started, basically. Perth Amboy, Madison Avenue, the Pizza Parlor Jury, Capri Pizzeria.
That's now, when you became close with them, though, was he already a rock star?
No, he was still. She's a Little Runaway was becoming nationwide at that point, and he just put the band together. So Tony was about 12, 13 years old. Tony Fazz, he's the gopher. He's running back and forth getting them sandwiches, and there's literally a poster which burned up in a house fire. There's
a poster that says, Tony always hustling.
Always hustling. There's a photo of the whole band when they first formed, and it says, Tony, get me a sub quick. I'm hungry. John Bon Jovi. And it's in the picture that I sent you. So you can throw it up as a thumbnail.
Right there it is, right there.
Yeah,
right there, folks.
There it is.
Look at that.
We were known as the Pizza Parlor Jury in the 80s, and we became very close. I was close with, God rest her soul, Carol Bon Jovi, John's mom. I called her Aunt Carol. My mom was very close with her. We would be at the house in Saraville, Parlin, every day. When Shot Through the Heart premiered, I was there on MTV. I was about 5 years old. And I remember his mom going, that's my son. That's my son right there. So I was able to share that memory of watching her watch John for the first time air his song on MTV. Screaming. Think about that, right? Isn't that the cliche thing that you see in movies? Or that's my son screaming from the crowd.
My dream was like, I always would think, like, I wonder what it feels like, because I write like original songs and stuff like that. And even like the intro to this show and all that, the piano, that's all, I do all that. But growing up, I always, as a kid and stuff, I'm like, I want to be, I want to be a rock star. I want to be in a band. I want to play music. But I had always said, I wonder what it feels like one day when you're just even in a car driving around and on the radio and then or like someone else pulls up next to you and you could hear like your own song playing. You're like, that's got to be just such wow, like type feeling, like like
Wow.
when it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for her though, for you though to be there when that had like when it hit and she was obviously proud. Um, that's incredible. And you said though that he wasn't like crazy rock star status though yet. It was just though when it was like coming out. So do you know like they hit like how long were they playing together before they like really made it?
So I know for a fact that She's a Little Runaway started to take off, and he still didn't have the band together, and he put them together. And then at that point, once the band was together, Richie was in it because I remember seeing them going down. I was real young. Some of my earliest memories, believe it or not, are Bon Jovi because I would walk over there and I would see these people with long hair, and I wasn't used to seeing that playing guitars and playing music right down the street from my parents' pizzeria. And I remember them being together at an early age, and they kind of from that point took off and they became rock gods in the 80s.
Yeah, well,
So I would literally go to their shows and I was scared to look at John because I was like 5 years old. And I would see
yeah,
him on TV. And when he would come out, I would bury my head in the couch or whatever. And one night we went to the Philadelphia Spectrum to watch him and Cinderella play. And the night before, me, my mother, and John's mother, Carol, we stood up all night doing basically a jean outfit, right? His denim outfit that he would perform in. And he had it all bedazzled, right? With all the rhinestones and whatnot. And we stood up all night to dress me like John. I had the long hair. I looked like John. And they
yeah.
were going to bring me out on stage in the Philadelphia Spectrum. And what ended up happening was I was 3 years old, dude. I was 1984. I fell asleep because I was so young. But I woke up after the show was done and they brought me backstage. And I walk out and I look up at John, and you know what he says to me? He goes, Mikey, don't worry, you're going to be a freaking star one day. Just like that, he said to me. He looked at me in my face. And I remember that. Then I ran to the couch and stuffed my face in the couch because I was so scared of him. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
ended up changing the older I got. And as I saw him when I was
Scared
older.
of him because of his stardom or intimidated
Yeah,
by
I guess I
okay,
was just,
yeah,
I
stardom.
guess it was that, being so young and seeing somebody was like, he was on TV,
Yeah,
and
that's normal.
everything was
No,
John at that point. Everything was John. My family talked about him. Like you could imagine what he was to the world. Imagine what he was to us. If what he was to the world, what he was to us, a little small Italian family from Perth Amboy who had a pizzeria who took part in his incline. You know what I mean? Per se.
well, yeah, and like well, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm probably about what 2.5 hours away from you,
Mhm.
but Slippery When Wet, that was the first cassette tape ever, like I said, though, like that I had, and that I just constantly would listen to on repeat when I was young.
Yeah,
I mean, I was born in '81, and that
me
was,
too.
I can still remember. It's like this. It looks like this, like alley type. It's gray with the red letter in Bon Jovi. Slippery When Wet,
Yeah,
the white cassette. This guy was around your family, like just like just constantly there, and
yeah.
with Tony though going to get him the sandwiches and stuff like that.
Yeah. I still
And
have Richie's guitar. I have Richie Sambora's one of his guitars that he gave to Tony. I have it downstairs. I want to like customize it and get him to sign it. Richie, if you're out there, hopefully I can try to link up with you and get it, man. I'm still in Perth Amboy. We have one of his original guitars that I have downstairs.
okay, real quick, Mike. And the
I'll send you a
audience,
picture of it.
no. We're doing an episode on Bon Jovi right now. Why didn't you bring the guitar upstairs?
I know, dude. You want me to go get it?
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second.
And I might not even cut this out just because, listen, and that's not me being rude or ignorant or whatever. We break balls here, and Mikey's a great friend of mine. But we're doing this episode on Bon Jovi. He's telling me everything. He's sending me all these pictures on him and stuff like that. And he has Richie Sambora's guitar downstairs. I mean, you would think that you bring that upstairs, for the show. But
What is
what's that? Is that a Fender?
It is, dude. It doesn't even have a name on it. You would have to tell me because I have no clue.
It's a Fender.
But
That's a Strat, right?
I'm not sure, guys. You would have to let me know. But look at this. This is original too, as well. This is from one of his tours. This is from the Philadelphia Spectrum, if I'm not mistaken, because we kept it. But yeah, man, I had a lot of stuff that burned, guys, in a house fire. I had John's signature blue ribbon that he used to wear around his arm. This was given to Tony Fazz, and I still have it, guys. This was Richie's right here. It's got 5 strings on it. The 6th string broke years ago. And I would love to restore it and get Richie to sign it. Richie, this is your guitar from 83, Madison Avenue, Capri Pizzeria. Do you remember it? We still have a picture of you, bro, in the phone booth. I still have these pictures. The Fazzolari family never forgot about you guys, man, but I still have the guitar.
I guarantee 100% that he absolutely though remembers and all that. And
It's cool, right?
Yeah, that's I when you went off screen, as the audience knows already, I was like, yeah, usually I'd cut this, but me and Mikey break balls all the time. I'm like, you think that you're doing an episode on Bon Jovi and you have Richie Zambora's guitar downstairs that you would bring that upstairs? Like,
Loomis, I told you, I am definitely not smart. I'm handsome. I told you this already, man.
that's beautiful. It's a Fender, by the way, and that's crazy. I like though, like it's still just you didn't put another string on it. You guys didn't even do nothing to it. You kept it as is.
The string literally broke off in the 90s, and it was sitting. It was wrapped and sitting. I'd like I said, I'd love to get it restored and get him to sign it, if I can find him. But yeah,
He
man,
will. No, he will. Absolutely, though. We'll
I
find
hope
him.
so, man. I mean, I'm still in the same place. We're still in the same house, Richie. You know,
No,
the
they're
pizza
very
parlor
humble. No,
Jerry.
listen, they're humble. Listen, let me just tell you something right now. I give you a personal guarantee that Richie Sambora will definitely though see that guitar and he will sign that guitar.
Oh, absolutely, bro. They're unbelievable. John is everything.
And I'm not saying that like meaning like, ooh, because I know this guy that. I just think that they remember where they come from and they just, they're gentlemen. And yeah, of course, fame gets to people at times and stuff like that though. But they just seem like the class of people though that, they remember though where they come from. I just watched the full
Absolutely,
thing.
man.
I just
I have
watched
a
the full
lot
thing
of
on Richie.
love for the Bon Jovi family. I was a part of the fan club. Me and Matt Bon Jovi, his brother, we spent a lot of time together as kids. So he's a few years older than me, but not much. And I learned how to swim in their pool in Saraville. We were very close with them. My parents even went to their wedding. When my dad showed up, he showed up in a white suit, like fucking like Miami Vice, like Don Johnson. And as soon as John opened the door in Homedale, New Jersey, where the parents lived, where John bought them their mansion, he opened the door and saw my dad. He goes, "You look fucking sharp," he told him. You know what I mean? And they came in and they went to the wedding that they
Yeah.
had. Because if you remember, John and Dorothea, they eloped in Vegas, but then he actually had a beautiful reception on a boat in Manhattan, and my parents were there. My mom's
Yeah.
running around with fucking what's her face? Just like the world we know, sings the song. She sings like, what's her name? Who, baby? Who? To see pictures, Loomis is gonna throw them up of the wedding.
They're already going up. They're already, yeah, as we're going, you know what I mean? That's
Sam Kinison, but yeah, man, Bon Jovi and my family, the Fazzolari family in the 80s was very close into the 90s, very, very close. I stood
and
up
Richie,
when
though, I wanted though to tell though Richie though, that when he though sees that guitar and all that, the deal though is as well, Richie, though, that you have to come on the show and do all that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
plugging it, baby.
I'm
Plugging
just
it.
kidding though. But listen, with the 12 string and he was doing Dead or Alive, and like what a song, man. My buddy BJ Cook, shout out to BJ Cook. We used to sit around a campfire all the time and just that whole like when you write a song like that when you guys are together, you know, you have to know that like, oh yeah, that's a hit.
It's
Because
magic.
I played in a lot of bands and
Mhm.
like I always wondered like when Led Zeppelin like wrote like like Stairway to Heaven, songs like that, like did they just know right away like this is gonna be a hit? Like for example, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ah,
If you guys are just rehearsing and writing, when you're done writing that song and you write something like Dead or Alive or and then it's like, all right, let's go outside have a cigarette. And they had to have been looking at each other like, yeah, this is like, yeah, it's a
well,
hit.
They were craftsmen, right? You're musicians, you're a craftsman. You stick to the
Well, yeah, but
formula.
I mean, like, I didn't really ever have like that. I'm saying, like, I just wondered, oh, like, when Ozzy and Randy Rhoads, Mr. Crowley, like, they had to be like, this is
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah,
You
they
know
had
what I
to.
mean? Like,
It was
I always
magic.
wondered that. I always wondered that, like, with like when they just know Tony Iommi even said it for Black Sabbath because that was the difference before anything. The song Black Sabbath is just G G, and then it would be the tritone, so it'd be the sharp fifth. So it's just G G D sharp, and it's only 3 notes. But he even said when he just played that riff, like the hairs, like they knew
Yeah.
like right away. So that feeling must be amazing. Just like that feeling with John's mom seeing him like on television, or if John was or Richie and them are, they walk into some type of establishment and like their songs on, like without them knowing that for like, that's the question I'd always want to ask though. The big time musicians, just that feeling like of how
Yeah.
that must feel though. But Richie though has this 12 string. And I'm showing the clip right here, and I can't put the sound on though because obviously a copyright. But what you're looking at right now is the video I was talking about, and just the way though, man, how it's sad, that riff and that song for us growing up, Dead or Alive. We
Oh, it
had
was
BJ
amazing.
played around a campfire all like every time, and
It still hits to this day. It hits. It
it's
hits
timeless,
different. Yeah, man.
timeless.
Yeah, man.
It's absolutely, absolutely timeless though. And
He
so
wrote
like
that
the
in
big
he wrote that in Richie's basement, Richie's parents' basement. They wrote that together. And when he says that story, I feel it. Again, because at one time I wasn't a musician, but I love to write. I love to write raps. Right, I got into the hip hop scene very heavy in the '90s, so I know what it takes to like try to formulate a song and to not be corny and to try to like really. It takes time, you know what I mean, and then to play an instrument on top of that, I couldn't imagine because I was never good at instruments, which is why I went towards the acting way. Bon Jovi inspired me to be more of an actor versus being a musician because I couldn't play an instrument. I didn't have it in me.
Well,
But
he told you you're gonna be a star, buddy. So
eh,
I mean, talk
I got
about
that.
that advice.
That's mine, Loomis. I don't care if it doesn't come to fruition. It's mine forever. All the memories I
Yeah,
have
and you
with
want
them.
no, but you're also though right now you're streaming on a show. Not many people could say that.
Yeah, it
It
is what it
doesn't
is.
matter. It doesn't matter if you don't get an Oscar or whatever. Like the fact is though that you did it though. Like you know what I'm saying.
Definitely.
And then
No,
you come
he was
you were gonna
definitely
be in a
right.
Bronx Tale. Like you came this close to being in it. I know you were upset, but out of 3,000 people, you come down like to the final three of getting in it. Like that's
But
incredible.
but as an adult, I respect that. As a kid, you don't even think about that you beat out
Yeah, well,
3,000
yeah,
kids.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You think about that as an adult, that's an accomplishment within itself. Yeah, but looking up to John growing up, John is everything that he projects. People think that, like you get like a Will Smith who's a phony fuck. You know what I mean? And then you get a
Uh,
person like John, he's everything that he projects, dude. You know what I mean? Like he is that guy. He's a good dude. Yeah. You might not agree with him, his politics, if you're far right, but whatever, the guy's still a good dude,
I
man. You know what I
separate
mean?
though that stuff. Like I
Yeah,
separate that though
me
with
too.
the music, and he is though. That's why I was saying that I would think though that with your guitar and come because, but what you're saying about him now, that's how I see them. Like you could tell it's just genuine, and they just
Yeah.
seem though like yeah, I like if they ever see this, they're not going to be like nah, screw them, whatever. No, I'm sure
No, of course not. And
he would.
listen, I get it. Once you enter a different stratosphere, um, you're going to be cut off to everybody. They're probably cut off to blood people and their first and second cousins. I get that. So I'm not bitter at all. We were very close in the 80s and 90s. Obviously, it's been a long time since we've talked to them, but I get it. I'm not bitter. I love them. I show nothing. Shout out to Matt. Matt Bon Jovi. We still love you over here in Perth Amboy, brother. You know what I mean? I still listen to John to this day, and I'll never forget the effect that they had on us, and how they made us feel. Our pizzeria was called the Bon Jovi Pizza Parlor Jury. I mean, we were the Bon Jovi Pizzeria for many, many years in Perth Amboy. So they had an effect on us. People, you say you're Bon Jovi's cousin, and I used to be like, yeah, I'm Bon Jovi's cousin. I
And
wasn't gonna
listen, dude,
sit there.
I have this I want people to know, like, I've been doing like the true crime stuff for a while, but the reason why like I'm like sitting up like this and like I have like I mean I just love talking music and like that's like so if I seem a little like rambunctious and all like excited and all that, I love music and this story is incredible what you're telling me.
Yeah, man.
And that it's and not to mention how you said they're like got a different stratosphere, you understand. It's not like they made it like look though when they made it with all the other bands that they were around.
Oh yeah, we were very
Like
close with them when they were rock gods. I'm talking about later on in life, early
no, I'm
2000s.
saying no, when they
Yeah.
yeah, but when they though with like they were definitely walking around though, like Steven Tyler, Joe Perry,
Oh
they
yeah.
they definitely Ozzy Osbourne, like they were
They
around
were
all
rock
like
royalty already. They were rock
yes.
royalty already, and they were gods, and they were doing something different. Who cares when people say, "Oh, they're a boy band, they make pop hits or whatever"? Fuck that. These dudes formulated songs that were amazing. Yeah, they were poppy, but that's what a lot of people like. Who cares? You know what I mean? It's like the whole "oh, you sold out," like 50 said. Switch the style up and watch them hate. Like, who cares, dude? You're appealing. You have
When
mass
I was a
appeal.
yep, and when I
You
was a
know?
kid, I used to be like, I remember Pink Floyd, like, I love Pink Floyd, I mean, I even have the, wall
Oh
tattoo,
wow.
coming right out of my chest. I got that, like,
No,
right when
no.
I had that when I was in high school. I had this picture up on the ceiling, and, I was, like, 15 years fif no, 16 years old, driving a Pontiac Sunbird, and everyone's like, "Loomis, what's that?" And I'm like, "I'm getting that tattoo," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, right," and I got it, though, and I
Yeah,
love Floyd, and when I go like this, it screams, it's funny. When you lift up, like, the face
yeah.
screams, and
It's
shout
dope.
out to Mark's Tattooing, though, for doing it. It's the first tattoo that I got. But and then I stopped though getting tattoos. But my point though being though is I found out like they did a Pepsi commercial and I was like, why would they do that? Listen, let me tell you
Yeah,
something let me tell you something right now. If I was in a band and they asked me to do if you asked me this in high school, I'd be like, I would never do that.
of
Get
course.
going. You're gonna do commercials. You're gonna do look at Ozzy. He hates though doing that type of stuff, but his wife Sharon, she has him like doing like these crazy, like
Of
corny type
course.
commercials.
Of course.
Just you're gonna end up though. It's easy for people to say that on the outside. But
Yeah.
and back to their poppy type stuff, I'm not the biggest fan of that type of stuff, but when they write a
You
song, though, when they
when you
write a
do it
song,
right. When you
but when
do
they
it
write
right.
a song, though, like Dead or Alive, I'm sorry, like me as a musician,
It's like,
like yeah, like it's because it's acoustic. Like you could do it, it's acoustic,
of
so it's
course.
not doesn't need the electronic feel, sound, or whatever. It's organic,
Yeah.
fresh, whatever. That alone, right there, and
I mean,
I used to always say that band sucks, and I get comments like Metallica sucks whenever I put something about Metallica. I could tell they're not musicians.
yeah,
I play piano since I was, I don't know, I'd say 9, 10 years old, right? I got a respect for it that I used to be like, I hate the Grateful Dead because like I wasn't like into that, like or like I hate Fish because like I think I'm not into that, but I don't say that anymore. I just say that's not well, I like the Dead now, but that's not my like cup of tea of music because or like Dave Matthews, but I respect that like if you're a musician, you respect what these guys have done, even if it doesn't appeal to you. A lot of people just
yeah.
say, "Oh, they suck because they don't like them." That does that. No, they
Well,
made it.
it's a
They made
question of
look what they did. Like, you
it's
know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
the numbers don't lie.
it's like a
And
conversation to me about content, right? Like, there's a lot of people who don't like Eminem, right, because of his content. But lyrically, you can't deny that the guy is the best that's ever done it. Same thing with Kendrick. Like, Kendrick is great, but I don't like his content, right? So I don't listen to his shit. You get what I'm saying? So I get it. It's all about content versus talent, right? They all have talent, but what draws you to it is the content, in my opinion. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are great that I don't listen to because I can't
yeah,
vibe with it. I can't rock with it. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like certain types of music and different genres, you have to respect the art form. And that's what I respect in every
no, I
genre.
know, but how
Every.
hard it is though to actually make it though.
Oh
It's almost
yeah,
like winning the lottery in a way. Like that's the odds of
absolutely.
like making it and stuff. And the
Yeah.
fact of and the fact that they and but they didn't make it though by luck though. They made it
No.
though by incredible music and
They stuck to the
but
formula.
a little bit of luck, though, that a lot of
Of
musicians say,
course, right.
because
Well, luck favors the
timing.
prepared. Luck favors the prepared, right? So
Yeah,
it's opportunity is luck is what? Opportunity and preparation is luck, right? So he was prepared. John knew the industry when he did She's a Little Runaway. He had his cousin that had the recording studio in Manhattan. He knew the formula to follow before he even put the band together. He had a hit on the radio. So he was smart. You can say whatever you want about that guy. He was smart and he's rich because of it, because he handled the game the right way versus you've seen in other genres that are younger, right? Like the hip hop genre. I keep going back to that because I love hip hop. You see
no,
how
I love hip hop too. That's
so many people got fucked over in hip hop because they didn't know. They got signed to the 360 deal and they basically were a slave, right? Most musicians are. Prince talks about it, right? He changed his whole name to get his
yeah.
masters and everything. That's how the industry is. It's the same thing in Hollywood. People think, oh, you're on TV, you're on, you must got money. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You know what I
Let me
mean?
tell
Like
you something. Let me tell
yeah.
you something about what you're talking about right now. This man right here, Duff McKagan. For those
Mhm.
who don't know, but you should, I'm sure you know, he is the bass player from Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Now, Duff was funny, true little. I should make a short on it though. Fact is that they were trying to get in touch with him, and I think he was like too drunk. The Simpsons. That's how they came out with Duff beer. From
Okay. No shit. That's
yeah,
cool. What a
yeah.
fun fact.
Fun fact right there, folks. There's a little music though, history for you right there. But what this guy, he got after he got sober, and the way he explained this book right here is what got me off of booze. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't though the AA book or any
Mhm.
of it. When I was in rehab, I read this book, and then he has another book here too. That's just I'm just bringing this out just for kind of context though. But then it just says how to be a man, and in I'm surprised though. Well, it probably dropped though before everything got crazy. Like, oh my God, how to be a man? That's toxic. You know what I'm saying these days. But this guy here, what is so smart that after he got sober, he went to Sensei Benny, and he ended up though doing martial arts, and he got he said he felt like he was tripping for a year sober, and he was riding around Los Angeles on a bike constantly because he was just drinking and his pancreas almost went and the whole nine. But once he smartened up, he really started looking into the paperwork and what the record labels were doing to these bands, and he made it to where and help so many other bands realize like you guys are getting like ripped off.
You
You
get
guys are
ripped
getting
off.
totally
Yeah.
ripped off. Another thing with Duff too is when Starbucks though first came out in Seattle, he immediately got stock in that. And so this guy right here, this book, It's So Easy and Other Lies is free, even if you don't like Guns N' Roses. And Duff's more punk rock type guy, but he just ended up happening to be a bass player of GNR, Guns N' Roses. I love this guy right here. Nice guy, but what he did though, I'm bringing this up about record labels are almost pretty much like banks. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Sabbath got ripped off big time and the whole 9 yards. And they didn't know better. They were just getting all these cars like Mercedes, and they were out and they had money that this and that. But what they don't understand though is that like they're not like, he looked into everything and
Yeah.
realized and opened the door for a lot of bands to understand that like, yeah, you're getting ripped off, man. And it's just read this book, folks, if you like what do you call it? It's just anything with music. Even if you don't like Guns N' Roses, read this book. You learn a lot. And John Bon Jovi, I guarantee you, definitely knows
Knows
Duff.
that book.
And does know the man. He knows Duff, I'm sure.
Oh,
And
sure, sure.
but that's how it would people think like when you make it, oh yeah, that's no. I know
No.
bands that made it. No, you gotta produce, you gotta make sure that that album though like sells. You got like, just because you get signed. I remember always hearing people, I want to get signed, I want to get signed.
Yeah,
Signed,
it's where it
great.
starts. It's
But
it's
yeah,
who you
it's
know and what you know.
explaining that when you get signed and like how
Yep.
bands look like the record label is so hard on you as well. Like I said, like how John Bon Jovi when they started out, yeah, and like have great like acoustic type songs, but the poppiness that happened though with them, they could have been like the record label could have been like, "Hey, this is what's going on now. This is what we need you to do, and if you don't hit this mark, you're gonna lose like whatever." So I'm not saying that that happened to them, but that definitely happens to bands though, where the record label's pushing them and saying like, you owe us because the
Yeah.
studio time alone is a fortune. So when
Oh,
they
that's for
sign,
sure.
they invest in you. So
Yeah.
it's not you get signed and all of a sudden you're all rich. So if
No.
you if you
Where's their
break out,
ROI?
yeah,
Where's
if
their
you
return
break
on
out and
investment?
become a
Yeah.
millionaire as a musician or rock star, like it's such an unbelievable achievement because it's almost like you beat the bank. Like everything's paid back pretty much from all recording costs and everything like that. They really nowadays though they make their money touring on the road because it's
Yeah,
not the same
it's a
like
different animal. But it's the
selling
same thing
albums.
with Michael Jordan. Like, how much money did that guy bring to the NBA in his prime, right? Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
What did he
What
make in
kind?
the
Yeah,
NBA? What did he
exactly.
make in
Huh?
the NBA? He didn't even make $1 million a year in the 80s. What did he
No.
make? He made his money off of Nike and merchandise, right? That's how he became rich. So it's like it's the same thing in acting, it's the same thing in music. It's like only 1% are gonna make it's like a Denzel Washington. He makes what he makes per movie because he brings in the money. He's Denzel Washington. You look at Josh Brolin. He just did an interview a few years back before
I love him. Great
No
guy.
Country for Old Men. I mean, Goonies. I mean, the guys you would
Good
think
guy though. He's like on a human level though. I'm saying he doesn't walk around like on this guy, but like you know what I mean.
no,
Like he's
but he
like
was broke, right?
if you
He was broke. What he called broke. He got
yeah
a check from No Country from Old Men, and it was like a $600,000 check. He thought it was 60,000, and it saved his life. Dude, we're
yeah
talking 30, 40 years past Goonies. You would think the guy was in Goonies.
he wasn't like really
Well,
though
he wasn't
broke
rich,
though, but
but still, what are we talking about? We're talking about scale pay from the union that pays you you know, it's
yeah.
like having a really good job, right?
And
So if I make
he barely
200,000 a
got
year,
anything for no country though. Like I
he got
think
paid
I think he got 60,000 because he at first he was happy. He thought it was six.
American Gangster. It was American Gangster
Oh
that he
yeah,
got the big check. Yeah. But
no,
you get
that's
what
the
I'm
one
saying.
where he got paid a lot though, and because that was such a hit.
But you get
No,
what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
people they associate being on television with large amounts of money. Yeah, eventually people think the second they see you on TV, you're a millionaire. It doesn't work like that. It's like anything
No,
else,
not at all. Look
you
at
know?
Michael Madsen, one of my favorite actors, Michael Madsen, and he's going.
Probably one of the greats.
I don't want
Yeah.
to talk personal stuff, but he actually, I'm only doing this now because he came out and said, like, when his house burned down, and he was hurting so bad, like, and like, it does not mean that you're set for life because you're on TV or you're set for
No,
this or that. Not one
doesn't.
bit.
It's
Not
1%. It's your Tom Cruises, your Will Smiths.
even The
Your
Sopranos, Tony Soprano, when
yeah,
he got his pay raise, he gave like most of the guys $30,000,
right.
invite them into their trailer to help them out. Like, but
Yeah,
a lot of
HBO is
them,
infamous for not paying people. They're infamous. That's how it works, man. You're not gonna get rich. I don't care how big your
what you
show
say,
is.
HBO is infamous.
Oh yeah, they
Oh,
were
I'll tell you
known.
how infamous they are. The reason why Sopranos in 7 seasons, it's
It's because
six
of
A and
them.
six,
Yeah.
it's 6A and 6B. It's because if they made that season 7, then they'd have to pay the actors more. So
Yep.
that's why it's 6A and 6B.
Know your worth, and just because you see people on television doesn't mean they got money.
I brought up Metallica, how they had Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, Justice for All, the Black Album, incredible. Then people started getting like, oh, when they did Load and like Reload, which I love songs on there. Like, what they got to realize is they're not making music for the fans. They
Nope.
make music that
For
they love,
themselves.
and it's
Mhm.
going to change over time. Why?
Of
Because
course.
they change as humans, they grow as humans, so their music is going to change a little bit over time just
Of
because they're
course.
not just sticking with the same old thrash real fast stuff. I love
Yeah.
though when James Hetfield, the lead singer of Metallica, said that. He's like, we play what we love and what we feel. Like songs like Nothing Else Matters, beautiful
Mhm.
song, wasn't even supposed to be a Metallica song. They found it, and it's like an ultimate like song because on guitar, everyone knows you can just do that with the. It's
Mhm.
just almost genius. Like even though it's an easy song to play, it's one of the
It's
best. Elton John says it's one of the best songs of all
I
time.
saw that interview, and James actually cried over that interview.
He
He got
cried,
choked up, right? Yeah.
cried on Howard Stern, cried.
Yeah, I
So
would have exactly.
oh,
It's a
I love
masterpiece,
Hetfield.
dude.
I love Hetfield.
Yeah,
I love
he's
a
amazing, dude.
great, great musician. And just he's his whole background. I love Hetfield, and I do also though love, which also in another episode I will be doing, is the mindset of Dave Mustaine, because
That's my
real
paisan right there. You kidding me? That's my paisan.
let me tell you something right now about this guy. Not very tough son of a bitch too. Like I'm talking tough, like he's martial artist, black belt, I believe in a
Really? Never knew
yeah,
that.
yeah, but he is extremely tough. But think of this, and I'm going to do an episode on this. The reason why I call it the mindset is this, because we're talking about music and making it, and to Bon Jovi. So Dave Mustaine, they're in New York, right? They're getting ready to make a record. He wakes up, the band's over him. They're like, "We got a bus outside. You're fired." Because everyone's kind of intimidated of him, and he punched Hetfield. He threw Ron McGovney, the first base player, right over. Like, oh, very tough guy. Yeah, he was just on Joe Rogan talking about martial arts and stuff, and just the way how he talks, you could tell he's Kerry King from Slayer said something to the effect of like being in a band with Dave Mustaine for 15 minutes or something is just it's Megadeth is Dave Mustaine. All right,
Yes,
let's just put it that
totally.
way. But here's
I
my
can agree.
point.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about how hard it is though to make it. And I want to say this just because I showed that thumbnail about Mustaine. He gets thrown out of Metallica, right? Metallica. On the way on that bus ride home, he's reading something and it says the mega deaths of the whatever, and he's like, because he always like, I want to come up with a better name than that. You're in a huge band like that, and then you come back and make it again, like you know what I'm saying? Like he made it in the next biggest thrash metal band, Megadeth, on
That's
his own.
crazy. Yeah,
The will, the
the
will
comeback.
that guy has, the minds. That's why I call it the mindset, the
Yes,
perseverance. A lot of people after that, man, would be like, look how big Metallica is. And Dave Mustaine, like 99% of the population, if that happened to them, would be sitting in a bar. And when someone put on
depressed.
Metallica,
Crawl under
they
a
would,
rock.
God, I was in that band. But Mustaine, like, that blows my mind. Like, because it's so hard to make it. Like, we were talking the lottery, this and that. And
Oh, yes.
He made it a few, like 2 or 3 years later
Made
with,
it twice. Made it twice.
Megadeth. Yeah.
He hit the lottery twice. He hit the Mega Millions twice.
Yeah, well, they weren't Mega Millions though when he was fired though at first, like but they were
But they
like
became that. But
they were
yeah, in
going, they were
hindsight, it
recording
became,
Kill 'Em
yeah,
All,
of
Metal
course.
Blade Records. I think it was Metal Blade Records, and they were yeah. So my point being though is like Joe Rogan laughed. He's like, because Dave was just talking normally. He's like, so I got thrown out of Metallica though when I was 20, and Joe Rogan stopped him. He's like, think about that. Oh, so you were in Metallica when you were 20. And then what he caught, then he goes on to go and do Megadeth. I just think that that I don't know, the will of that is it blows my mind how
Yeah, man.
that guy, say what you want about Mustaine, he's very outspoken because he doesn't have a filter, but the guy's a genius, musical genius, and he to be able to do that is just like it's a comeback. It's like that just blows my mind. That was him saying, "Okay, you threw me out. I was the best guitarist that you had in this band," which he was. He's unbelievable. That's all those solos, those songs are his on
Oh,
Kill 'Em
yeah.
All. A
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of the songs are his on Ride the Lightning, and he was the first frontman for Metallica because James though was so shy. Like Dave was the one that would actually talk to the audience in the beginning and stuff. So but it had to think about it. It had to work out that way. That's why I think God like does put certain bands together because Metallica, we got since thank God that happened. And if that, I'm sure Mustaine was hurt because Metallica is a little bit bigger than Megadeth, meaning sales wise and
Well,
sell our
yeah.
concerts. But as a fan, it's like we got two for the price of one, though. Like we got Megadeth with the constant thrash going, and then we
Mhm.
got Metallica.
Which is, yeah.
And I the way that it happened, I think is I love it, and what a story. I mean, there
Yeah, man.
should be a movie on Dave Mustaine because you make it in one band, that's incredible. But to get thrown out of that band and
And make
not
it another,
and
yeah.
to be mature enough. Think how old he was. I think what you were doing when you were 20. To be
Mhm.
mature enough to just be like, all right, he is the definition of what's that line? To your enemies, kill them with success.
Yeah,
Success is the he's the definition of that.
absolutely. Yeah, he
Yeah.
harnessed the right kind of revenge, right? You know, it's like
Yeah, I'm loving
yeah,
this, man, with the music though. Like this is amazing. And I know we're jumping to a lot of people in this,
yeah, no, totally.
the thumbnails, this is for Bon Jovi, but I want to jump back into this now. This picture that I'm showing right here. I want you to explain it. There's
And
our man right there from The Sopranos, and what do you call it? With
Silvio.
Bruce Springsteen. What's going on there? What is
So
this?
that's John Bon Jovi's wedding. That's 1990. They were on some sort of
Who
I
took
don't know.
that picture?
Oh, my father. My father took all these pictures. God rest his soul. He was real close with John Senior and John himself. He believed in John Bon Jovi. We used to feed those guys, man, for free at the pizzeria. All those sandwiches were for free. Remember that,
So,
John?
so,
Those
so they,
interviews.
so they did. They wait, but he was real close in with Springsteen and all those guys then as well.
So Steve Van Zandt was, yeah, I mean, John was. I mean, that was his wedding. That picture that you're looking at is John Bon Jovi's wedding in 1990. It was on a boat somewhere in Manhattan, one of those boats that dock and then take off, and they had a wedding. And everybody was there. Stevie Nicks, just like the world needs.
Yeah,
That's who
there
it
you
is.
go.
Ringo
Jesus.
Starr. I mean, there's so many people at that wedding that we have and that we documented. And my parents were close with them, man. You know, especially Carol, God rest her soul. She just passed away over the summer. John's mom. She was very close with my mom. They would be together almost every day. I mean, I called her Aunt Carol for crying out loud. I thought she was my aunt. I thought they were my cousins. That's how close we were. We were kids.
So how far away then would you say that like John and R.I.P. though to John's mom Carol,
Mhm.
but how and R.I.P. as well though to your father, man. My
Thank you.
condolences because you
Thank
know what I'm going through right now,
Of
and
course, man.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's very very tough, and
Of
my
course.
deepest condolences,
I
and
appreciate that, man.
same to John's mother,
Yeah,
but.
God rest his soul. My condolences, John.
How far away then like was your Aunt Carol, John's mom, like how far did she live from you?
Oh, they lived 5 minutes from us. They lived over
Oh, okay.
basically over the Arctic Hill. There's Perth Amboy, there's South Amboy and Saraville, New Jersey. Anybody who's familiar with New Jersey and who's familiar with Bon Jovi, there's actually a rest stop area which is in Saraville, which is the Bon Jovi rest stop area, which a few years back was converted into the Bon Jovi rest stop area. Right here, 5 minutes from each other. My parents were actually named on his first album. It says thank you to Alphonse and Melina, Carmelina, my mom, Fazzolari, which is their last name. It's on the first album. She's a Little Runaway, that album that they had.
Yeah, no,
There's a thank you to us because we held many interviews in that pizzeria. We are the pizza parlor jury. We were the catalyst in the beginning when John was just rehearsing 2 doors down from our pizzeria. We were there. My brother was there. I remember seeing them rehearse. And this is before they became rock gods. This was Little Runaway was just starting to break on the radio.
So is that why Aunt Carol though eventually though moved farther away from you because her son became so big that she had
They were already living in Saraville. So what happened was obviously John's a lot older than us.
well no meaning though usually though like where you're from and when you make it big you end up though moving and buying
No,
a
they
house.
moved way before that. They moved when John was in junior high school. He wasn't even, I don't even think he was playing guitar at the time. He might have still just started playing guitar. Then they moved over to Saraville from Perth Amboy. The city of Perth Amboy, they moved from there to Saraville once he was in like junior high school. So we're talking the 70s. So they moved to suburbia in the 70s, and then John grew up and became who he was. Play guitar. The whole story of him going over to the guy who taught him to play a House of the Rising Sun. And he goes, if you don't know this song next week, don't come back because I'm going to kick your ass. And he came back and learned it because he was so scared of the guy. Told him.
Well, he
You know what
better
I mean?
learn it though. It's
He was
A
already
minor.
living in Saraville.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
A minor, C major,
Yeah.
D major, F major, A minor, C major, G major. Then you go to A minor, C major, D major, F major, A minor, E major, A minor. Yeah, so yeah, that's a song that's probably why he said it though like that. 'Cause it's not the hardest song in the world, like
Well, if
to
you know the
play.
story of
It's a
John,
great
Threw the
song.
guitar. John threw the guitar down the steps, and his mom Carol, she used to always tell us the story. He didn't even want to play guitar; he threw it down the steps. And there's an interview where John says, "Yeah, I like the sound that it made better than what I can get out of it when I threw it down the steps." And then he went and played for this guy who was basically like, "Listen, come learn House of the Rising Sun." He came back and didn't know it. He goes, dude, don't waste my hair, and you don't know it. And he got scared. So it was more fear that drove him to learn it.
Well, fear is a great motivator. Yeah.
It's the same thing with the group 21 Pilots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the lead singer, he's fucking phenomenal. He had a keyboard and he threw it in the fucking closet. Then one day he took it out and he just heard the preset songs that were in it when you press the button and you listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to do that. I want to make something like that. And then spawns his lyrical genius and his musical genius. The guy's a prodigy. That group to me, 21 Pilots, not to get off subject, I love them, dude.
No,
they're
we're
amazing.
talking about obviously this is based on
but
John Bon Jovi.
Exactly. So it's the same thing.
But this episode is like they're the tree, and there's going to be other bands. They're the branches that we're going to be talking about, though. That's why I brought up Mustaine, and I brought up Metallica. We brought up Elton John, Metallica. We're bringing up everyone, Eminem, all the way to Eminem. It's a music show. It's a music conversation. But a Queen, even all that stuff. I love though, what does it feel like when you first hear your song on the radio?
Man, it must be amazing, dude.
It's got to be absolutely incredible though.
Everybody's had that dream.
Hardest thing though in a band though, man, is I remember when I would write a song, I'd be like, but then you would get someone else. We had a situation once where this drummer came in our band, Original Sin, and my guys won't mind me saying this. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be like a Mustaine right now because he's open. This guy was a phenomenal drummer, but he'd be trying to do these jazz shuffle things and this and that. And then our guitarist was like, yeah, that word. And I'm like, this just doesn't no, it doesn't.
Dude, the solos, the stage diving. You ever seen the movie School of Rock? I love that movie, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is you have to get the right, you have to get, it's like food. You need the right ingredients. This guy was just this jazz filled type. No, we needed a straight up heavy metal type guitarist, the stuff and we already had a guitarist beforehand a drummer beforehand that to this day still breaks my heart that we got rid of for no reason. It was just stupid because we thought that we need a better drummer or whatever. And what happened was, we got a better skill type drummer, like jazz drummer, but he just didn't fit. So that's the other thing that's hard with a band. It's not just you. You could be incredible, but you need everyone on that same, Black Sabbath, let's say, for example. Ozzy Osbourne, the only instrument that he ever played is harmonica on the song The Wizard. So, but you could totally tell when Ozzy leaves Sabbath and Dio joins. And I Sabbath with Dio was great, but it's more of arena rock type sound. And Ozzy absolutely is a vocalist and doesn't play instruments, but
he is an instrument. His voice is an instrument.
Well, there's interviews where he hums with Mr. Crowley. He gets the songs in his head, and he's like, "Hey, songs just come to it." They say he's a genius, where you could write an idiot savant. Some people say I love the guy, but I mean,
me too. I love Ozzy.
I might as well just say this right now because for the first show, my dog of 13 years who just passed away, as you can see right there, Ozzy. I still have to get a polyurethane, but I named Ozzy after Ozzy Osbourne. Everyone would say that they would just write a riff and the melody that he would just be able to put right over it. Randy Rhoads, for example, there's a song called Suicide Solution where he was just tuning up his guitar and he went, nah, 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 and Ozzy goes, do that again. No, and then the song though started, you know what I mean? Some people have an ear for Lars Ulrich. A lot of people make fun of Lars Ulrich. Let me tell you something about Lars Ulrich. The way he Enter Sandman, Kurt Hammond at 3:00 in the morning on his guitar wrote dan 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 dan. Lars immediately when he heard it, he goes, no, play that 3 times and then put the tail on it at the end. It's about arranging, you know what I mean? People are so hyped up.
It's like
because he can't do a jazz 20 whatever they thought that doesn't matter as long as you're filling, as long as it works for the band. Everyone's all about who's the best this, who's the best that, and that's why I respect Metallica. Hetfield said it best. We never got into all that type of stuff, even though he's the best down picker by far going, but they never were worried about ooh, I want to be the best, whatever.
Yeah.
A band is one, you're one unit. And like
Yeah.
you said with the acting, how you guys all get, if how people get along
Mhm.
offset, it's because you're building up a report. Django, the movie Django,
Mhm.
Jamie Foxx was hanging out with Christoph Waltz, who's an unbelievable
I
actor,
love that guy. He's
for
amazing.
6 months or so
Mhm.
before they were like Tarantino had that
Yeah.
arranged so that they had that chemistry. Like,
Yeah.
like you have
They were
to,
friends. They became new friends.
you could get the all right, get the greatest guitarist in the world, like the greatest drummer in the world, the greatest bass player in the world, the greatest keyboard player in the world, the greatest singer in the world. Tell them to start a band. I guarantee you that band's not going to be better known than like a Black Sabbath or like a Pink Floyd or like a Bon Jovi or like a Queen or no. That's the same thing with like I said with the Yankees. You buy all the best play. It's not about that. It's about the camaraderie and like
Yeah.
the energy that you have to have with each other, and you become one. Like
Yeah.
and
There's
they
no
made
hate.
super bands, Audio
Yeah.
Slave and stuff. They're good.
Yeah.
But look at Guns N' Roses. They
Yeah.
did what was
It's not Audio Slave is not Soundgarden, right? Or whatever. Or he dude, I get it.
or yeah,
It's the same thing in hip hop. It's like, why did the South take over hip hop during a certain time? It's because all those guys got along. When Lil Wayne or whatever, one of the, whoever it was, T.I., they came out to do a video, everybody showed up and supported.
Lil Wayne's a good artist, man.
He's great. That wasn't like that in New York. Everybody had egos.
He's very
If you think
intelligent
about it.
too.
Yeah, man. So it's all about support and you know what I mean, and not hating on people. And everybody, there's plenty of room for everybody to win in whatever industry it is. If you got talent's gonna break through no matter what it is.
So
But
what's going on though with John though? Because I saw an interview with Richie, and I'm not sure how long the interview was, but Richie was open to getting back together if John's voice comes back.
yeah, they were reaching out to each other, I guess, right? That I
But
looked
what
at it as
happened
a
with
reach
yeah,
out.
but what because I mean I love music. I know a lot about music, but what I don't know what happened though there. What happened with his voice?
So I think something happened to his larynx, dude. He had got surgery, I guess, from years and years of singing. And I don't know. I saw the whole documentary on John, and I think that at the last, the last portion of what I understood was he got the surgery and he was slowly getting back into it. But I don't know. Can he perform like he could before?
Did
I
you
don't
ever hear
know.
a version of him though doing Hallelujah?
Oh my god, dude. Just became even. I'm gonna tell you what he became. Like, did you ever see that movie New Year's Eve that he did? There was a movie that he did where he performed on New Year's Eve. It was a bunch of, A-list actors, and it was like a New Year's Eve movie. But he
No,
fucking blew
I
me
don't
away.
think so. I'm not
He was
sure.
amazing. But you got to check it out. It's like a New Year's. I think it's called New Year's Eve. Ashton Kutcher. It's a bunch of people. Ashton Kutcher gets caught in the elevator. Yada yada. Russell
Oh,
Peters.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's all like it's
It's
not
him
just like
performing on New Year's Eve,
yeah, but
right?
it's not though just like 3 stars in it. Like everyone's in this.
It's an all star cast. But he
Okay,
blew me
yeah.
away in that.
I
His
didn't see
vocal.
it though, but I remember though seeing like the trailer for it and all that type of stuff when it was coming out. I'll check it out. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, because you think about it. Oh, he's Italian. You don't have soul. He's not like a Frank Sinatra. I mean, listen to fucking "We'll Love You Always." I mean, it's a ballad. It's one of the most amazing ballads I've ever heard, dude. Next to Journey. I mean, come on, Journey. Stephen Perry is just fucking
There, yeah.
amazing. But dude, John holds his own on that song, and there's a lot of songs. I mean, I am a big Journey fan, though, dude. I think I like
Are you?
Journey more than John. I think I like Journey more than Bon Jovi. But
No, not just ruined us for getting a guitar. Why'd you say that? Now Richie's never gonna come on the
Richie's not
show.
signing my. No,
No,
Richie respects that. Nah, but when it comes
I
to
know.
ballads, John is amazing, dude. His voice, his vocal, like it was so sad to see that documentary where he had to
Well,
get the
that's what I hate
surgery.
with like we're going back to when we said like when people are like they suck. Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
Like
Yeah,
you
okay.
got it's so easy for someone who just
But
sits
the
around
but the
and then
person who's saying that they suck
and looks
pumps
on their
gas,
phone and just
pumps
says they
gas.
suck.
Yeah,
Think about what they had to do and go through.
but think about
Metallica,
but
Metallica used to say hand.
Loomis. Think about the
Yeah,
person that's telling you that they suck. That dude pumps gas, and he works at Wawa, and he works at
yeah.
the local farmers market. He doesn't know what it takes to do that. To what it
But
takes
that's
to
a
be in
selfish thing to
crap.
say though. Like that. I
Yeah,
used to say it though. I'm guilty when I was younger. Yeah,
because you
that
were a
band
true
sucks.
gatekeeper, right? You were a gatekeeper of the art form. Oh, these guys sold out. I know what it is, dude. I've been there. Oh, these guys are not what they are. They're commercial. They're mainstream, right? We all get caught in that. backpack
Well,
mentality.
Aerosmith, like when they did the whole like dude looks like a lady compared to their albums like Toys in the Attic and Aerosmith, like Aerosmith's old stuff is
Course, man.
unbelievable. But as we're talking though about the history, rock and roll with Loomis, which is a segment that we're going to be doing though. This is definitely though the first show of this segment. So I didn't know if they had a fallen out, Bon Jovi. That's why, because they were asking, like, would you get back together? And Richie said, yeah, as long as his voice is okay or all that. Do you know anything of them? Like, were they arguing ever, or was it just
I
because
I think there
John?
was the whole. I think Richie, I don't want to speak out of place, but I think he had some issues as well behind the scenes, and you know how that goes. You know what I mean? Maybe it just got to the point where they got sick of each other. I guess I don't know. Maybe he wasn't making his rehearsals, and he wasn't performing as well as he should due to substances. This is what I got out of it. Don't quote me on that, and don't hate me because of it, Rich. But yeah, I think that's going to take an effect on people, of course, especially when the rest of the band is pretty much sober, right? And you got one guy who's fucking up, right? Because if you
Well,
look at
yeah,
John,
that's the
you've
other thing
never
that
seen
happened.
John
So,
suffer from substance abuse, right? Yeah, he drank. I'm pretty sure he did other
yeah,
things.
but I'm sorry, I'm going to,
It
but
did.
you need though.
Singing and making music was number one for John. It wasn't drugs.
I
And
know, but you
seeing
need Sam Bora, though. You need him. He's that what he's an
he's
ingredient that you need, though.
he's a salt and pepper upon Bon Jovi. You kidding me, man?
Yeah.
There wouldn't be Wanted Dead or Alive without him. What was he doing in the beginning? Was he doing the auto tune with the tube? What was that? With the double guitar and the whole tube? Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh, you're dead. No, you're talking
whoa.
about the voice
It's
by
not.
yeah. What's that story you were saying now?
No, so basically, you know how like John Bon Jovi built the whole, I guess I don't want to say image around Sayreville, New Jersey. So when you say where's John from, he's from Sayreville. They went to Sayreville High School. They kind of leave out Perth Amboy, which is cool. I get it, whatever. It is what it is. But the true story here, fellas, tonight and ladies and gentlemen, is in 1989 on the MTV Music Awards, there was a press conference. And one of the journalists asked John, what is the pizza parlor jury? And John stood back and said, in Sayreville, New Jersey, there was a pizzeria. And he was right, but it wasn't Sayreville. It was Perth Amboy, and it was my parents' pizzeria. And I get why he said it.
Why? What?
A little controversy. He said, maybe, I don't know if it was a mistake, but he said in Sayreville, New Jersey, there was a pizzeria. And he was talking about my parents' pizzeria, but it wasn't Sayreville. It was Perth Amboy. Whatever. We weren't.
It wasn't a mistake.
Was it a mistake? Did he not want to mention Perth Amboy? Maybe because he didn't want any connection to it, because people didn't really know about Perth Amboy, because he was really truthfully only born in Perth Amboy. You got to understand, Perth Amboy had the general hospital.
Why though about that though? Like I don't see where that benefits him though.
Well, because at one time people would think everybody was born in Perth Amboy because they had the general hospital in the area. I said, yeah, you're right. A lot of people were born in Perth Amboy, right? But he was from Perth Amboy.
Well, you're actually giving away now some music history though that you're good, like because that's his narrative that people are believing. So, okay,
yeah. Did he grow? It's like saying, in other words, like it's like being born somewhere, living there for many years of your life, and then as a teenager moving somewhere else. Let's just say he was 11 years old or 12 years old. He was still originally from somewhere else before he went to Sayreville, and he was from Perth Amboy. He was from Perth Amboy, New Jersey. You can look that up on Google. It'll tell you that.
No, I mean, you're changing history right now, meaning that if he said that in an interview, a lot of people out there think that that's the truth.
Yeah, the pizza parlor jury was Capri Pizzeria on Madison Avenue in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, next to Shorty Shortstop, which was a bar owned by David, the keyboard player. His uncle owned that bar. Watch the documentary. They mentioned Perth Amboy.
I believe every word you're saying.
Yeah, they mentioned Perth Amboy by name.
I love though, because I do music shorts and I ask people questions and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, that could even be that if he said that, which I know he did. You just like you know what I mean? Like you just changed something, like in like music story though, telling history that's not true. What he said.
We wrote history for you guys, and that's the truth. There was no other
people. Yeah, and you're not trying to be like a hater or anything.
No, I'm not a hater. I get it. I accept it. At the time, it was pretty frustrating because it probably could have put our family on the map. It was the original social media, MTV, right? So
Yeah.
if they were coming to Radar Pizza and give it a 7 out of 10, people are going to go check that place out. If this is the Pizza Parlor Jury, could have helped us out. Probably we would have probably owned the block.
Well,
Probably
did
would have
they
we
ask
wrote
about the pizza? Did they ask about the pizza
they
place?
asked it was a journalist that said, "John, what is the Pizza Parlor Jury?" And the whole I'm going to send it to you the clip. And everybody goes, "The Pizza Parlor Jury." The whole band said that.
Oh,
And
and
John
then he
goes,
says though that it was
it
from
was
a
from
different.
Saraville. He goes, in Saraville, New Jersey, there was a
Oh, I thought
pizzeria.
though. I thought you were saying that just in general that where he said he was growing up. No, you're
No,
saying
no, no.
that
They asked him specifically,
your
what is the
pizza.
Pizza Parlor Jury? And John responded with, the Pizza Parlor Jury was a pizzeria in Saraville, New Jersey. No, it wasn't. It was in Perth Amboy. And
Oh,
not
I
only
got
was not only Tony was a part of the jury, Tony was one of the kids who picked out songs for the first album. And it was in our pizzeria where John held interviews.
Tony again is Mike's
Tony
brother,
Fazz.
Tony Faz.
Yeah. A little frustrating at the time, but again, like everything else in life, whatever. It is what it is. Life goes on. Not mad at him. Still love John. John, we love you, bud. We're not haters.
Absolutely.
So one more story
Love it.
before I go, Loomis, because I gotta go in a second, brother. But this story is pretty cool too. When Keep the Faith came out, remember? Keep the
Yeah,
Faith.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I was up in his fan club with my Aunt Carol, God rest her soul. We were there till about 3 in the morning, and I was maybe 11 years old, 12 years old, packaging all the stuff for the fans for that album. And the next day, John came, pulled up in his Ferrari, and came in and saw a bunch of people that were in there. And there was a couple of girls that were a part of the fan club that we brought in, that they literally came to my parents' pizzeria and they were like, we want to meet John. And we introduced them to Carol and they ended up becoming volunteers in the fan club. And they were there and John pulls up and comes in to thank everybody. It was a little small group of us, but they were just fucking shivering and crying, these girls, you could imagine. And I already got over the whole fear of John by then. I was 12 years old. So I was able
Yeah,
to
well,
see him take
yeah.
his hand. Yeah. It was so cool seeing him. But that goes to show you how down to earth he was. He came in to thank us because we stood up all night to get all the stuff out for that album for Keep the Faith. I mean, we were there all night. Maybe 10 of us, 12 of us.
Yeah, no
Just
shit.
yeah, man. And I was about my mom included. My mom was there. We were just stuffing envelopes all night to just in preparation for Keep the Faith. And it was out of Ford's, New Jersey, in a little spot in the basement that the fan club was based out of. And Carol, his mom, she ran the fan club for Bon Jovi, and we were always going there, visiting, bringing pizza to them, and a lot of memories with John Bon Jovi. I just want to say we miss you, we love you, bud, and we're here, man. We're still in Perth Amboy.
And do me a favor though, hold up though Richie's guitar again.
Absolutely.
So without a story real quick, and that is Richie said, boy, that how did you get that?
Richie gave this to my brother Tony in 1983 on Madison Avenue. We still have the picture of him in the phone booth. For all you kids that don't know what a phone booth is, it's literally a telephone that would be inside a booth. That's where Superman used to put it. That's where Superman used to get changed in. So there's a picture of Richie with this, literally giving it to my brother, and there's also another picture with him in the booth.
Nice.
Yeah, man, this is his guitar, and we
Yeah,
had a
so
bunch of
listen, real
we had a
quick.
bunch of
So
memorabilia that burned, guys. Like I had John's charm, his crescent moon charm. I had his it was sort of like something that he would tie around his arm when he would perform. It was blue. I had that. Everything burned. So much Bon Jovi. Remember all the pictures that Loomis is going to show you. Most of those pictures burnt in a house fire we had. We had so much Bon Jovi memorabilia. Yeah, it would blow you away the stuff that we had.
the reason why, and if I cut you off tonight or anything like that, I apologize. It's just that this is the first like real episode I did with a guest, talking about music. And as I said, music is my number one love. So I'm always, I don't mean to cut out. I just get so excited and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And this episode was just, I mean, to get to talk about Bon Jovi and which the episode's about, obviously. But then we also talked about like Mustaine, Hetfield, Floyd, Ozzy, Sabbath, everyone. This episode was just thank you so much for coming on again. This was I mean, I don't know if this is incredible. I got goosebumps. I just love music so much. And then you got Richie's guitar right there. That was incredible.
Some
And
cool
I
shit,
can't
dude.
and you changed a little bit though music history by stating though something that was said that wasn't the case, and it was your parents' establishment. So I could see where that would be like, oh man, like why would you do that? So I get it. And you're not saying it in a hard, hateful way.
No, I love
You love
John. I get
you
it.
love them. Yeah, you love
I
those
love them.
guys.
Yeah, man. Of course, of course. No, 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 no. Definitely not, man. I'm glad to be a part of their history, and I'm glad that they gave us the time and day at the time because they didn't have to. You know what I mean? They loved us, and we reciprocated that love to them. So this is not by no means is this hate at all. I'm
No,
just
no,
sharing.
no. We're just no.
Yeah,
We just like to get to the facts with history. That's why, like, real quick before I let you off, true in the true crime genre, like I'll show people a fact, but like they get all mad because they just like want to be right or something, or they're you can't change their narrative. I'm just
yeah,
about like whatever the truth is. I'm a
yeah,
big history guy. I love history. So like I like always wonder, because when someone tells a story, then the next person who's got to tell it, it's gonna, everyone changes. I like to know exact facts and truth.
yeah.
And my buddy Frankie calls it the gray area where people get mad, but you know what? It shouldn't be the gray area. It's just the
It's
truth.
necessary.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
the truth.
necessary. The truth. Yeah, the truth.
Necessary truth.
Yeah, it shall
Plus,
set you
Mikey
free.
Fazz,
Thank you.
folks, you could catch him on Amazon Prime on Capo Rise to Power. Great series.
I'm the
Um,
handsome one. I'm the handsome one on there.
yep, and
Can't miss me.
his brother Tony, the man's man, Tony,
Tony
hustling since
Faz.
day one, the
Shout
worker
outs to
man.
Jimmy. Shout outs to everybody. Nicole. Everybody, man. Love you guys.
Tony, if you see this, I have so much respect for you because you remind me of like my grandfather's generation, like like they say the greatest generation, because he's just such like a man's man work. Like, do hard. Tony reminds me of a guy that if he hit the lottery, he'd still though be doing work.
Look out for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And please don't forget, folks, to subscribe to the channel. And rock and roll history, though, with Loomis, though, will be rocking every week. And I believe, though, the next episode, though, that I will, though, be doing. Now, this won't be a rock and roll history. This will be like Mikey Fast talking about Bon Jovi. But this is a nice little like pilot for me to start getting into full videos of that, though. And then the first one I will be doing is the mindset of Dave Mustaine. And I think you guys, if you like Metallica, if you like Megadeth, even if you don't like them, the inspiration, just the will of this man, I think you guys will really enjoy it. So subscribe up because this will be dropping within a week or two. And Mikey Faz, you always know that my door is open for you at any time. You're basically family to this show. To me, you're a part of this show whenever you want to be, my man.
Appreciate
And
that, brother.
anytime you want to come on, this was fantastic. This made my night and made my week actually. And thank you so much, folks. Mike, where could they find you at on Instagram?
Yeah, you can check me out as Mikey Faz. MikeyFazz.
On
Underscore.
Instagram
On
and
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay,
Same thing with
and
IMBD. Same thing with IMBD. Mikey Faz.